after the landmark ruling at the Constitutional Court yesterday, compelling President Zuma to adhere to the Public Protector's findings on her investigations into security upgrades at his Nkandla homestead, and those are binding. What the way forward is for the opposition parties, and will they gain a momentum to make enough members and numbers to upset the appeal cart? Sorry, the apple cart, my humble apologies. Can the EFF doesn't even sing the Afrikaans part of the national anthem? And does this align with the mixed representation of the DA? The EFF's deputy leader, Floyd Shivambu, is our guest this evening. Thank you so much for joining us, Floyd. It's a real privilege to have you with us.
Thanks for having us, yes.
So we are very excited about what happened yesterday. We were discussing it earlier on in the show and saying, thank God, there's been some good news. The rainbow has finally shone upon us. How does it feel in the camp of the EFF?
Now look, we knew throughout that ultimately the Constitutional Court is going to reach the conclusions that it did yesterday. Throughout our existence in Parliament, we had been saying to Parliament that the remedial actions of the Public Protector are non-negotiable. They must be implemented by the President. That is why we demanded of him to pay back the money throughout. And they did everything. They even unleashed violence on us as the EFF. And we didn't even participate in the committees which they tried to institute as a decoy of what the President had to deal with. All other parties participated. The Democratic Alliance even went to Nkandla trying to justify what had happened there, whilst the remedial actions of the Public Protector, as is provided for in the Constitution, are non-negotiable. So we were the only political party in South Africa that said that Jacob Zuma must pay back the money. We actually said that he's going to pay back the money. And now the final instruction has been given that he must pay back the money, and we're waiting for him to do so. He will not be president by that time. We were quite convinced that when he convenes the press conference now at 7, the only thing that he has to say is to say that he's stepping down as a president of the Republic of South Africa because he has disqualified himself of such honor of being a president who must uphold, protect, and defend the Constitution. We do not want a president in South Africa who doesn't respect the Constitution, which is an embodiment of everything else that we do at political level. So that is one thing that we're expecting him to do today when he convenes the press conference.
But Floyd, you know...
Take off your tie, you've got too much red on.
Honestly,
you've got to remove that.
Am I in line with the EFF?
You can't outshine
Floyd. You know, one of the things that is fascinating about what you guys have been able to do is create drama, excitement within the parliamentary precinct. And everybody obviously sees that on television internationally as well. But, you know, once what your demands have been met, with the demands you've made, what you've asked for, the president steps down perhaps maybe, and the guys that you've been so intertwined with within the parliamentary precinct have all been removed. What happens? What's the next move then for the EFF?
Now look, the EFF is government in waiting in South Africa. Well, we contested elections after 8 months of formation, and we're going to contest the local government elections now in August. And most certainly we're going to be number 1 or number 2 political party in South Africa after the local government elections. And in 2019 we're going to be government of South Africa because majority of South Africans are beginning to see sense and logic on what we say every day.
But Floyd, you're starting to sound like Nkabinde, you know.
No, I'm not.
And throwing the bones.
It's not throwing the bones. It's everything else that we said is going to happen in South Africa happens exactly in that format because we know political activism. We are on the ground. We interact with the people every day. We have got structures for elections. We are ready to contest all the wards in South Africa in the upcoming local government elections because the people are receptive of our messages. They understand that there has been attainment of political freedom, and those that have got the political power have not been able to utilize that political power to bring about meaningful economic transformation and changes that will benefit all South Africans. It has been just a reproduction of the apartheid inequalities and the poverty that defined the black majority is continuing in that format. So we are a political party of hope. We're the last hope that is going to bring about meaningful change in South Africa.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but just give us an idea. There's this discussion happening now at 7 o'clock. And you obviously, I want to hear from you what you think will come out of that. You already said that you that you expect the president to step down, but what do you expect to come out of Ntuli House?
No, we expect Jacob Zuma to announce his resignation.
And
it looks like at 7 o'clock, Jacob Zuma must announce his resignation. At 8 o'clock, the Luthuli House Brigade must welcome the resignation and assure the counter that everything else is stable, and then we'll move forward. And if he doesn't resign, we've already made a commitment to the people of South Africa that we're going to remove him. We're left with no option. We cannot be led by a person who has violated the Constitution. We're never going to recognize Jacob Zuma as a president of South Africa because he doesn't deserve to be a president. A person cannot let so much money be spent in his homestead.
Agreed.
He has got an obligation in terms of the Constitution to protect the public purse, to protect all the institutions, to defend the Constitution, and he has failed recurrently to do so. Why should you continue to be a president? And you must remember, a president is not just an individual, it's an institution that must approve South Africa's laws, that must appoint judges, that must appoint virtually all boards of parastatals, that must do so many things. It's an embodiment of most of the implementables that the state must have to deal with. And we cannot have a person who doesn't respect the basic laws of our country continuing as the president of our country.
But like you said, there's the board as well, and that's going to be the next step, obviously, that will have to be assessed.
Of course, because the ruling party, the ANC, is a majority party. After that, they must then select amongst members of parliament of who must be designated as a president. And then ourselves will take charge once we have been elected by the majority of South Africans.
Floyd, I'm going to hold it against you, my friend. I'm waiting for you to take on government. You said what? 2017. I'm waiting.
It's going to be 2019.
2019. I'm going to hold it against you.
The leadership
if we do that, then maybe I might have my jacket printed like you have your printed that.
And from us to your esteemed leader, please wish him all the best on getting his graduation. That's a wonderful result.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We really do appreciate that.